I'm not crying, I just did a really big cough and it made my eyes water. Wow. 3 things have happened in my life lately that have made me really sit back and think about the way I think about my life. And with today being International Women's Day, it all ties in really nicely, so I thought it'd be worth a chat. The first one is something that happened at my daughter's school when I went to pick her up, and I was standing at the school gates with some of the other mums. And if you're the mum in question watching this, please don't worry, I'm not angry, it's just something I noticed about myself. And I went to go and collect Darcy, and I was wearing a purple t-shirt with Mickey Mouse on it. Most of you will know I am a huge Mickey Mouse fan, so I was wearing my Mickey Mouse t-shirt and I was feeling pretty good. It was like this vivid lilac colour and had bright pink lipstick on, and my hair was all like woohoo. I felt great, I was really happy in it. And I was talking to the other mums, and one of the mums said to me, oh, I noticed when I walked in that she looked me up and down, and I was a bit sort of unsettled by that, but in my mind at the time I was like, I'm imagining that she hasn't done that, I'm just being a bit insecure, don't do that, don't do that. In my mind I was thinking, I shouldn't be being that insecure. And then later on in the conversation she sort of laughed and said, oh, you're wearing your Mickey Mouse top today, in what I perceived to be a mocking or negative way. Now I could stand corrected, but from my point of view that's what it felt like. And instead of saying, yes I am, I really like this t-shirt, I went into this weird meltdown mode where I apologised and said, yeah, oh god, you know, sorry, oh, it's washing day, so my washing machine's broken, which is true, but my washing machine's broken, I don't have any other clothes, I had to put this on, I had to. Now, my washing machine is broken, but I didn't have to put that on. I chose to put that on because I wanted to. But instead of just standing firm and accepting and being proud of the things I like, I kind of bowed down in a weird way where I didn't have to, because she would have been absolutely fine if I'd have just laughed and said, yes, I have. But I did that. The second thing is that one of the main comments on my latest Chatter channel video, my second channel, I make a weekly vlog on there, was that I apologised too much and to stop doing it and I don't look like a potato. And that comment got hundreds of thumbs up from other people, and comments saying, yeah, you look great just the way you are, please stop saying that, please stop apologising for yourself. So I watched the vlog, and then I watched some of the other vlogs, and I noticed that in every single vlog, multiple times, I apologised for myself. And not big apologies like, oh, I've done this terrible thing and I would like to say sorry for it, but ridiculous things like, hi guys, sorry my hair's a bit frizzy, sorry my hair's a bit greasy, sorry my hair is up, sorry my hair is down, sorry my mascara has run, sorry my lipstick is smudged, sorry my house is a mess, sorry I'm out of breath, sorry I look a bit red, sorry for everything I could possibly think about of my own, anything that's on camera, generally my appearance or sometimes the things around me. And when you say sorry for yourself continuously, you are telling everyone else that you are inferior. We'll get back to that again in a minute. So the third thing, I'm going to give you some context and some background to it. I went to a breakfast meeting the other day, a couple of, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Yesterday, hosted by Sarah Brown in London, and the whole meeting was absolutely full to the brim. There were easily a couple of hundred people there, I think. Well, like a good maybe 100, a good amount of people there. And it was hosted by Their World, and it was for the campaign, which is Rewrite the Code, which is changing the way women think about themselves so that they can then change the world around them. So really smart, forward-thinking, interesting, achieved, successful women were in that room, and I was one of them, and that was cool to me. But you'll see where I'm going with this. So on my table, it was loads of lovely women. There was a couple of lovelies from Gleam, and there was Naomi and me, and there was the lady, I wish I had remembered all their names, I've got them all written down to talk to them on Twitter, but there was the lady that is the editor of GQ magazine, there was a fashion vlogger, I think that's what she did, there was a DJ, and there was the founder of Made.com. And at the beginning of our session there was like a talk from Sarah Brown, and then some delicious breakfast, those eggs dough, and then we had to have a group discussion, a little like table discussion, and I think her name is Vanessa, oh God, I hope I've got this right. I probably haven't. I should probably just go find that piece of paper that I've got their names written on. Story of my life. I've not prepared myself. Let's hope she never watches this. It'll be fine. Anyway, she suggested, why don't we all introduce ourselves? And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Then we get to know who we are. She, by the way, is I think the youngest editor of GQ magazine, the youngest editor of anything at Condé Nast, and she told us that the biggest magazine at Condé Nast is Vogue, and then hers is second to it. Also, I think she is the first black editor of it as well. Like, she was amazing. I was like, wow, this woman has got her shit together. And she had this like wonderful exterior of like confidence and like calmness. I was like, oh, I want to be this woman. Anyway, so we went to do our introductions, and the lovely Gleamy said that they worked for Gleam and what they did in their names. And then I said, hi, I'm Louise. I just make videos on YouTube. I just do some social media stuff. And the GQ lady said, what about, or she said, what's it called or something, and I said sprinkle of glitter, and left it at that. And then it was the lady from made.com next to me who founded made.com, for fuck's sake. Like, amazing. She'd been an architect for 10 years, and then she'd founded this company, and she wanted to empower like female designers within her company, yada yada. And then I got to Naomi, who does the similar thing as me, not the same but similar, and her intro was amazing. She was like, hi, I'm Naomi Smart. She said her surname for one. I didn't bother to do that. She said what her channel was called. She talked about Sourcebot. She talked about bringing out a book. She talked about all these things that she's involved in. And I sat, and then everyone else did their intros as well, and they talked about companies they've set up or things they've done, and I just felt like utter shit because I hadn't been bold enough to talk about my achievements. And it's not because I haven't achieved anything, I just didn't feel like I was able to say what I've done. And all my life I've been like that. I never feel like I want to show off, or I want to be Billy Big Boots, or I want to make anyone else feel uncomfortable, because in some areas of my life I've achieved a lot more than other women my age. In some areas I haven't, but in some areas I'm ahead of the game, and I'm really proud of that, unashamedly proud of some of the things I've achieved, but I never talk about them because I never ever want to seem like a dick, and that's the wrong mentality. It's not, you're not being a dick to be proud of yourself. And obviously you don't want to go to like the supermarket checkout and be like, hi, did you know I'm a graduate, business owner, homeowner, property investor, amongst many other things, including UN ambassador and #1 best-selling author. Oh, I would like a 5p bag with that, please. That's not the time. But at a woman's breakfast about empowering women in business and, you know, rewriting the way we think, that was the time. But I didn't take it. I apologised myself continuously. I didn't even stand up to the nice mother who commented on my t-shirt. And at the breakfast to talk about powerful women empowering other people, I didn't showcase any of my achievements or talents. And as the meeting went on, I started to think more and more about this. I started to wonder if this was the same for men, and so I did the tiniest bit of research. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I don't mind at all. I'm really up for like a good discussion in the comments. Nice and respectful, but I'm like happy to discuss things. And I watched a few people's vlogs, guys, and they didn't apologise themselves in it at all. And I thought back to some of the meetings that I've been to with my dad when I was younger. So my dad is a director of a couple of companies, and he's like really into being the director. Like, he goes to like breakfast, is like members of like business clubs and things like this. I think he's actually on the board of directors, which is like the building that I was working in the other morning. And I used to go to all these things with him, and they used to talk to each other and introduce themselves. And my dad, if you met him and said, oh, what is it that you do, he would very, very confidently, and not arrogantly, just confidently and comfortably say to you, hi, my name's Steve Pentland, I own several businesses to do with this, I also invest in a couple of things here and there, and I'm really passionate about this. And I would, and other men would do that back to him, and I wouldn't think, oh, show off. I just think, oh, that's cool, that's what you've done, great, well done you. But I couldn't seem to do the same for myself. And I think it's because all my life I have never wanted to make someone feel uncomfortable. never wanted to show off. I've always just wanted to like just be a bit quiet and just sort of smile along and clap for other people. And I still will clap for other people, obviously, all ships rise in high tides. But today, on International Women's Day, I want to make a little pledge that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to apologise for things that don't matter, like my hair or my face. If you're watching my vlog, you're probably... Someone calling me. Now's not a good time. I'm making a pledge, goddammit. If you're watching my vlog, you're watching it for the things I have to say, or the fun stuff I do, or the real stuff I do. You're not watching it because you are obsessed with the frizz levels of my hair. And if you are, then that is probably a you problem and not a me problem. I make such a big song and dance about being all for gender equality and women's rights and improving the world. I'm a United Nations ambassador for gender equality, supporting the Global Goals campaign with goal number 5, which is gender equality. And yet, in my own personal life, deep inside me, in my personality, in my character, I'm not stepping up to that plate at all. Someone at the Rewriting the Code breakfast, which I'll leave a link to below, by the way, because it's such a good campaign, you should definitely check it out. Also, I'll leave a link to the Global Goals campaign, which is below, and also I will leave a link to the Google campaign that they're doing today as well. So there'll be loads of good links and resources below, so do look at those. But someone said about International Women's Day, today is our day, but yesterday was our day, and tomorrow is our day, and the day after that, and the day after that. And that rings so true. I would urge you to think about ways in which you could step up to that plate to make gender equality something that you think about and something that you live. Because once you start with those little things, you'll start to see a whole lot more. And my God, there is so much more that needs to be done in the world. This is such a small problem. I'm so fortunate in my life that I get to do so many things, but there are so many problems across the globe which I think we know and recognise as all sorts of things. There's domestic violence and trafficking and not enough healthcare, not enough education, female genital mutilation, the list goes on. I can't even think of it all off the top of my head. I've actually written it all down, but I'm not referring to my notes. I'm trying to be like, just say what's in my head rather than look at my computer all the time. But there's so much that needs to be done, so I'm going to leave those links below. But I just want to talk about something that I've noticed in myself and say to you guys, ironically, I'm sorry for a real thing, not for my hair or my face. I'm sorry that I haven't been being the female leader that I would like to be, and I'm going to try and do that from here on out. And I'm going to be proud of my achievements and the things that I am. And I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of homework. First of all, well done if you got to the end of this video, and secondly, well done if you do the homework. I would love for you in the comments to write what you are with pride. So I'll just get my laptop. So I wrote a list of all the things that I am that I don't often shout from the hilltops because I don't want to be a show-off. But if you've watched all the way to the end of this vlog, I think it's safe to say that, like, we're cool, we're chill. So I'm going to just read them out and tell you these cool things that I have done and that I am, that I'm proud of. And I would love it so much if in the comments below you would write the things you are and you're proud of. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, maybe comment out to somebody else and say well done and offer your support. So here we go. I'm a childhood domestic abuse survivor. I'm a university graduate. I'm an award-winning content creator. I'm a company director, I'm a homeowner, I'm a badass thick bouncy hair grower. I'm a comfortable and unashamed divorcee. I'm a single mother. I'm a landlord. I'm a doer of on-fleek liquid winged eyeliner. I'm a property investor and a commercial enterprise investor. I'm a top Alone in the Car singer. I'm a United Nations ambassador. I'm a #1 best-selling author. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I would love to hear what else you are. I would love for you to check out these links. Happy International Women's Day to men and women, and I will see you next week.